Welcome to our Griffin Tank Defense of the Plan. I want to welcome our guests here this afternoon and assure you we're going to have a very interesting afternoon. I want to apologize for the unusual configuration of the room. I'm sure you're aware we have our Christmas Carol sing tonight, and they use this room. So in order to get this room to this afternoon, I had to sort of allow them to put the tables in. So it's a little different, but I'm sure we'll all be just fine. Okay. This past fall, the students divided up into groups and met with members of the Chestnut Hill Business Association along with other businesses and nonprofits in the area. After discussion, 5 students groups had consulted agreements. They actually consulted with businesses. The students met with them, learned about specific businesses, discussed the issues, and ultimately they're given directives as to what the businesses wanted. And you will hear today some of the ups and downs and problems that arose based upon those directives from the businesses. The student groups discussed various concepts, completed research, met with business owners to review, and they met with other business faculty. They met with Bill Rogers, they met with Lars, they met with Kim, they met with all of us to try and say, okay, what are we doing wrong here? How do we do it better? How do we think this through to really put together a good plan? I am really excited about the judges we have here today, so I'd like to introduce each of them. I have Pierre, and Pierre, I never say your name right. Could you say it? He is we do have a lot of graduates, Chestnut Hill graduates here today, and I purposely did that to help celebrate our 100-year anniversary. Pierre is a 2022 graduate, majored in business administration and accounting, got his MBA in data analytics. He won Griffin Tank back in 2022 with Stadium Sprint, so be careful the questions he'll ask you. And he's currently employed as a senior communications manager at Walmart. And I just found this out. He is bilingual in English and Haitian Creole. That was pretty cool. Laura Hahn Carroll, and where is Professor Carroll? So for my class, who I say, this is the wife of Professor Carroll, that's Professor Carroll. We all love. But let me tell you about Laura. She has a BS in biology. She's been the director of business-to-business sales and events at Insomnia Cookies, and she did bring some for everyone to share today. She has over 10 years experience in sales, catering, events, and customer service, and she seems to consistently exceed all her targets. She's co-director of Camp Celiac in Rhode Island and is a Cross Cultural Solutions volunteer, which is really pretty cool. Then we have Kent and Lori Griswold. Kent is a serial entrepreneur whose first enterprise was starting a summer camp at age 14. I love telling that story. He is the founder and producer of The Wolf Pack, which our class watched, and introduced Wall Street, a board game, and founder of Zord Games, and introduced Wall Street, a board game where one takes on a role of investor trying to beat out their fellow investors to be crowned the king of Wall Street. He was the former president and CEO of Griswold Home Health Care and is on numerous boards. Lori Griswold, I always say, is his better half, and she is a nationally known policy analyst, gerontologist, and aging issues coach. She serves as a consultant in long-term care and compliance and has worked with Fortune 500 and government agencies on pre-retirement planning, and she's authored articles, and she's on various boards. And on a personal note, I really need to say this, we would not have our MBA program that we now have today if not for the insight, advice, and mentorship of Lori and Kent. I cannot thank you enough for how you helped me put that together. I have Loretta McLaughlin. She is the former Chief Financial Officer of the Sisters of Mercy, former Chief Operating Officer for McGee Rehabilitation. She's also been employed at Arco Chemical as a management consultant. She is a member of our Business Advisory Council and another Chestnut Hill alumnus. Alphonse isn't here yet, but Alphonse is another CHC alum, and he is co-founder of the clinic and clinician of Brightside Medical Associates. I have Luis Perez, another CHC alumnus, who is, he got his degree in International Business Language and Culture. He is a senior client associate at JP Morgan Chase. Those of you here that are looking at finance, you've got Luis, you've got Kent. Guys, you need to network. And while it's Chestnut Hill, is vice president and co-founder of La Vox Latina. Then we have Lorraine Riviello. Lorraine is Rivello. I'm sorry. I always do it wrong. I'm sorry. Lorraine Rivello. She is also a Chestnut Hill graduate. She, with a major in math, which I can't understand anyone majoring in math, she completed executive education programs at Harvard, Emory, and the University of Pennsylvania, and she's a retired executive from the IBM Corporation. She also is a member of our business council. And then we have a very interesting individual, Christopher Civil. Did I say it right? He is a Chestnut Hill alumnus, but not from business, from communications. Am I correct?
Communications.
And he is the Deputy Director of Communications for the New Jersey Senate Republican Office. So his thought process is very different than our business. So I'd be very interested in the questions he asked you all today. So we have a very impressive group of judges with extensive experience. They have all reviewed your plans. They've come prepared to question each group. So our last presentation absolutely, is Norbert Fonbon Academy School Store. And we have David, Andrew, and AJ.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew. This is AJ, and this is Dave, and we're going to present about Norbert Fonbon Academy School Store and the renovations after consulting with Dr. Killian. So Norbert Fonbon Academy is a leading educational Catholic school, educating students from ages K through 8th grade, and it's right up the road on Germantown Ave. So we broke this down to 3 parts. So phase 1 was the renovations and upgrades. So their initial vision was they only sold apparel. They had 1 designated worker. They had a variety of hours, so they had no set hours, and they had a square system, which I'll get into. Our vision, as you can see, was we acquired a POS system. We added snacks and drinks because they're a heavy athletic school who kids stay after school. We added monthly specialty snacks and drinks, so it's only added once per month. We had school necessities added, so notebooks, pens, pencils, erasers, all that stuff. We had students working, which was a big key factor. We did add set hours, and we're going to try a 2-week test trial. Next slide. So we had 3 key objectives. So we hit the whiteboard, and after talking to executives from a local school district, we found that the point of sale system that we're using for School for Stores is the best beneficial way. After talking to Joseph Kowalczyk and Robert Steckel, they guided us to this. We sent a survey out to students and parents. So we sent this out, and they get to choose what they want. And we talked to local legislators about federal and state funding. So the point of sale system, what's different from the square system is the square system, you can only pay with credit and debit. So I wouldn't want a 6-year-old taking my credit card to buy stuff at a school store. So the point of sale system, parents can upload money through the software to the student's ID, so they can pay with their student ID. The calculation of hours worked, skill points for student working, tracks and manages inventory, profit, sales, and revenue, and there's an online website built through the software. So for the survey results, I consulted with a local nutritionist who was my old trainer, Jack O'Grady. So we sent out the survey to the parents. We did a focus group, so all 3 of us went into classrooms from grades 6 to 8, and we saw what they wanted. And obviously, as you can see by the chart, there was a diverse selection of snacks and drinks. So the federal and state funding we applied for. We sent a letter to Josh Shapiro about approving these. So the reason for this is to fund the store. They could buy new products and equipment as they expand. It can be refunded every year. So these can be reoccurring payments, whatever they may be, and then donations for improvement. So the impact of the objectives. So as you can see, our main focus was getting these 7th and 8th graders to work in the store, to build the principles of finance literacy, so students can work the store efficiently, so they don't have to go on pen and paper and track inventory, sales, and all that stuff. And school and activities can be purchased through there, so Spirit Week, homecoming, all that stuff. The survey results, students choose what they want to eat and drink, so they give us a suggestion of what they want to eat and drink, and they can choose exactly what they want. And then for the federal and state funding we received, it can be put into Renovate the School Store, as I talked about. It's going to create a better student experience. And then some money will get replenished back into the store. And then also money will go into the scholarship fund for students who cannot afford private school. So phase 2 was marketing and guidelines. So the emails, we got weekly emails to go out to students and parents, emails about the monthly snack and drink additions, the hours for the school store. So say an administrator cannot be on campus that day, the store will be closed, and then obviously the opening and closing. So we also came up with flyers. So as you can see, there's a example of a flyer. So we added a Glacier Freeze Frost Gatorade and Snowball Oreos for the month of January since it's cold. And then we would have like a grand opening. So for the Bear Dun, it would give the hours, the afternoon hours, and they would be handed out in each classroom. The teachers already agreed to handing them out in the classrooms. They were going to be hung around hallways. And then as we add new foods based off the 2-week test trial, those would be posted too. So phase 3 is the grand opening. So here's the floor plan that we made. So in the pictures on the business plan, this was not there, so we were knocking down a wall, and the apparel was going to get moved to the back. So as you can see, the POS system is going to be there. There's going to be refrigeration. There's going to be snack shelves. Here's the complete office, and like I said, we rearranged it to make more space so it's not all clustered. You guys have any questions?
I'm going to start. Great presentation, great deck, everything looked awesome. Quick service retail is my world. This is what I'm passionate about. So when I got to see your recommendation of bringing food, that was awesome. I'm curious, when you were researching, what was your margins on the food compared to some of the merch that they were trying to sell?
Good. Can you rephrase that, please?
Yeah, what was your revenue margins on the food that you wanted to sell in this store?
So we're going to go through a wholesale vendor. So that's all going to depend on, so we don't have, obviously, the right to make the prices. That's going to come from them. But we're trying to make at least $2, $3 based off of how much we buy. So the main thing was that we went through is one of the administrators who is overseeing the store, they have a Costco membership. Mm-hmm. So whatever we buy in bulk, so what's important about the 2-week test trial is we're going to buy limited supplies first. We're going to try for 2 weeks, see what sells, see what doesn't, because we can't have all unhealthy foods. We can't have all healthy foods because no one's going to buy the healthy foods. So we got to have a diverse mix of both foods. So we got to see what sells first, see how much we make off of it. That's when we're going to set our prices, but that has to go all through them.
Just so you understand the food world, there's about a 20% margin normally on these types of things. So your suggestion in your report was you're going to bring in about $25,000 in revenue from food for the year, which is great. But if you're only getting maybe 20% revenue in your margin, you got to be careful. You got to think about like their recommendation of merch is going to bring you a lot more overall for the year versus the food, especially because you're going to have food waste. Stuff is going to expire over time, so you're going to have a loss there. So you want to be careful on like what are you going to weigh the merch and the food. But good recommendations, great overall.
Is the Academy a 501c3?
No, it's a nonprofit school organization.
Okay, so the store was first described as retail store in your write-up. That could be unrelated business income tax. But later you do describe it as an educational experience for 7th and 8th graders. 2 questions. One, was an evaluation done to determine how it should be set up to avoid unrelated business income tax? And 2, what is the expected outcome from an educational standpoint which would help you when you're getting your grants?
Our educational standpoint is we were going to reach out to, we reached out to 2 grants with the Ford Foundation and the Kellogg Foundation. They were interested in donating to us so we can finance the store. You got anything else? That's it, yeah.
In other words, how are you selling what the students are going to learn? How are you going to get the people from somewhere to teach accounting, to teach inventory control, to teach all those things?
So yeah, with the POS system, we wanted to implement basic training. We thought it'd be good for the kids to get good customer service skills that helps them develop them at a young age too. When you see kids, they learn how to kind of operate a small business in a way. The point of sale system is really basic. I think that in a couple days, I think that a kid could learn how to use the point of sale system and then just develop basic customer service experience and just basic store organization. And that's pretty much it when it comes to working the store.
Was food and clothing insecurity an issue with some of your scholarship students?
No, it wasn't too much of an issue. I don't think we ran into any issues
Yeah,
with that.
we didn't run into any issues with the apparel, and they also have used school uniforms in there that kids can come in and pick up and wear them for school, and they're also free.
But I'm thinking more, they may not be able to purchase unless they earn their credits.
Yeah.
So a quick question, did they have a cafeteria in the school?
Yes.
Yes, they
So was there an evaluation of whether this was going to detract from kids going to the cafeteria for food versus income streams?
So the cafeteria is only open during lunch periods, which is 10:30 to 12. So that's why we set our hours at 7 to 7:30, because school starts at 8, and then after school 3 to 4, because that's when, so they're heavy athletics. So that's what brought this idea upon, that kids stay after school. So if they're trying to drive, their main concern is driving traffic through this bear den. So it's adjacent to the library, which is, it's off-site from school. So it's in the same property, but it's like you have to go into a different building. So they're trying to drive traffic through. So down the road, which I just talked to her yesterday, they want to build a lounge, which is connected to the bear den, where students can hang out after school, buy snacks and drinks from there, and then hang in the lounge until their athletic event starts.
Okay, so the traffic flow in the den is manageable?
Yeah.
So that, because you have 100 kids coming through during break.
Right.
It's going to be difficult to manage that.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the POS system, there are ways to have parents differentiate what their kids can buy.
Yeah, so.
So you don't want a kid coming in buying 10 Gatorades for their friends.
Right. So what's cool about
And
the
they do.
Yeah. So what's cool about the POS system is the parents can allot a certain amount of money per day, per week, per month of how much they want their kid to spend. So if I'm Dave's dad and I'd say I want you to only spend $5 a day, you can put that in through the website and you can say you're only allotted $5 a day, so it's only going to your kid. It's not going to anyone else.
So just a couple of different points. Number one, I think you guys had a great presentation, really good, grasp of knowledge of the information and the group that you're working with. Number one, I really like the idea of the POS system. It kind of reminded me back when I was in high school. We had one that was similar. My parents uploaded money into the thing. I used my ID. So I think that was a really good idea in terms of implementing that into your guys' business plan. What really piqued my interest, though, was the letter you sent to Governor Shapiro. Kind of interested, what was the response on that?
So we consulted with local legislators that obviously Governor Shapiro is very big on educational standpoints. So we sent a letter to him. We got a letter back saying that he is going to approve the grants. In the meantime, our vision was to open up the school store after they get back from winter break, so January, so we can try this 2-week test trial. We can see some failure, see what we need to work on. Now, that I just talked to her yesterday that they didn't allot money in the budget for snacks and drinks, so they only allotted money in for the apparel, which the apparel is stocked. So it's looking like we're not going to move. They're going to start this in August, which is kind of a concern, but I mean, not really. So once we get these federal and state funding grants back in, that's when we're going to go all through. We're going to try everything out, try the 2-week test trial and see what happens. And then, it's kind of like trial and error, see what kids want, see what kids don't. And it's going to be good too, because in August, when we start having the school supplies, it's going to be, we want them to buy stuff from the store and not go to Staples, not go all over the place. It's all on campus that they can buy.
Net in this funding, is this something that is money allocated in the budget that's for a whole list of schools, or is it just specifically for your guys' school?
For the federal and state funding?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically how it works is,
Yeah, Ryan Killigan, their
director
there, he applied through the grants through Catapult Learning, which is here in Philadelphia, and they also have things for pencils and all that stuff. And I think it was a $5,000 grant.
Yeah, 5,000, yeah. So, but so the school standpoint by itself, they're gonna allocate money towards the snacks and drinks now too for the next fiscal year. So it runs from June 30th to July 1st. So they're gonna allocate money for the snacks and drinks now that they know our vision and that we came in to consult with them.
Sweet. And then just the last point, the 2 flyers that you guys had, the Bear Den and the one for January, I really liked the Bear Den one. I think it was visually appealing, got the message across. I think the January one could have been improved a little bit. I think there was a lot of open space with the blue that was in it. And
Right.
the picture was kind of crammed on the left side, but otherwise, I think you guys did a really great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It looked very thoughtful, very thorough, the work that you did. The point of sale system is integral to what will function, what your recommendations are. Was there any thought given to any type of backup should that fail? We have electrical problems in the area. We have FiOS problems in the area. We have a lot of those types of things. How would they go into a manual system, or how would they approach that? And it also looked as though you had a very involved client, and you mentioned that you're continuing in contact with them, which is a very positive note.
Right. So we didn't really think too much about what would happen if that was the case. But it's Wi-Fi based. So, I mean, we don't, again, like there's a lot of regulations with it being through the school that their school is all tied in together. So there's a main campus, there's an outside campus. So I guess to answer your question, we didn't really think about what would happen if there was like an outage like that. But I mean, I guess the good thing about the POS system is you could keep it by hand and track it by hand, and then when it comes back on, you could just manually enter it through the system. Yeah.
Maybe they invest in a generator.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you said having the students volunteer to able to learn, which is a beautiful idea, but can you give me a little bit more of an idea how it would be laid out? So would it be during classes? They have a set period? Will the students interchange every month, like a hall monitor?
Right. So I just talked to her yesterday. They're going to make it a elective. They just added electives to their school. So I mean, the problem that we saw with this is that we're not dummies, but we never learned inventory, profit, sales, just basic fundamentals of finance and accounting. So they're going to add this as an elective next year, so kids can work it. It's going to be a class, and that director of the school store is going to be the overseer, so make sure they show up on time, all that stuff. We also did come up with student code of conducts and handbooks that they have to abide by. So, I mean, it's going to be like a normal job, but it's going to count towards a class for them to move on to the next level.
And lastly, I'm going to beat you guys up a little bit, but that was a very simple presentation. So like just a white background text. Can you give me an idea why it couldn't be a better layout?
Yeah, we submitted a presentation, and I think we uploaded the wrong one, but.
I got you.
Quick question. You guys mentioned you'd have volunteers in sort of a class setup, but 7 to 7:30, then 3 to 4 p.m. How are you guys going to have that as a class for students to come in, parents dropping them off early in the morning?
So it's not going to be for the morning. So the director of the store, she said that she's going to work the morning shift. Kids get out at 2:30, so kids are going to come over. If they have this class, it's going to be 3 to 4. It's going to be an hour long, which is their set classes. And then by the end, they're going to keep an hour track, and then the director is going to sign off that they completed all their hours that they needed.
For the morning, what happened? The director stuck in snow, can't leave their house. Who runs the store in the morning?
I guess it's going to be closed. I mean, they have.
Well, you only have, I guess, an hour and a half window that you're open for the day.
Yeah.
So if you're missing your first 30 minutes every day, director is sick for a week, so you make no money in the morning.
So they have backup volunteers that are working right now. So there's the main director, then there's obviously other people that fill in for. But as you said, if there's snow or whatever, I mean, they do close school and have 2-hour delays, so that's going to have to be adjusted. So if they're on a 2-hour delay, it's going to get pushed back 2 hours to 9 to 9:30. So it's all going to depend on what the school is. Like I said, they have a board of directors, so we don't have too much say in that. But this is all that we proposed, and they approved. So they're going to have to look into more of that.
Then my other question, you guys mentioned that you would have items by the season for the month, as you mentioned, in January, the type of Gatorade and the cookie you had. So what happens when, those items don't sell or you buy a set amount and it exceeds the amount you had for the budget?
So they're just going to roll over into the next month. We're trying to figure out enough to buy that they're going to sell out, but not too much that they won't sell out. So I talked to her yesterday, and she said that the best idea is to buy a limited supply, and wherever they go, and we're not restocking that. We're more focused on the main inventory.
All right, I'm over here. Oh, hey, great presentation. I like the energy. I like your energy. And I wasn't sure what you were doing, right? But I'm pretty sure behind the scenes that you probably put some things together. But I love the teamwork that you guys are doing. Question: what was the timeline for the morning store? Like, what was the
7 to 7:30.
7:30. Is there a concern for like just foot traffic, like lining up? Like, say if there's like 50 or 60 kids and they can't get done within that half an hour time.
So there's. Are you saying like kids being outside, or like the certain allotted?
Yeah, with the store being open for that amount of time, and then there's just not enough time for all the kids to get,
Right. So like my view is, so like say it's cold in January, there's another entrance to get in. So that's not really what you're asking, but there's another entrance to get in that goes down a long hallway.
Yeah.
They don't start class till 8.
Yeah.
So I feel like that if we have from 7 to 7:30, there is some extra time that kids can still purchase stuff, as long as they get to class at 8 o'clock and there's not a conflict between class and another, like.
Yeah. Is there a set, like maybe like 10-minute window? Like,
So they start homeroom at 7:50. So as long as they get to their class by 7:50, there won't be an issue.
Okay, all right. And that'll be something that you guys will account for. Let's just say if there's more lateness that's happening when the stores,
Then they're going to adjust.
Okay, all right. And I think that was it. But I'm very happy with the presentation, and it made me feel comfortable looking at it.
Okay, just an update, they are a 501c3. I researched it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you've had time to deliberate, you've had time to think and talk and discuss and argue and whatever, and have you made a decision? Yes. Who would like to make sure, where's the microphone so it gets?
So I have the honor of that. First, I want to congratulate everyone. All of you did a great job. We could see the work that you put into everything. We all want to mention that this is an amazing opportunity. When I presented my senior sem, it was individual. And we created our idea, we presented it. This gives you a real life scenario. And it's something that you could all learn from, because you will present to clients. You will present to other people in other departments. And you need to come organized, come on time. Present things in an efficient way, so not bombard them with information. So this is a great opportunity. I hope all of you got a lot out of this. Excuse me. Some presentations stood out. The reasons that they stood out, everybody could be polished, everybody is gonna become better. That's gonna come with time and experience. But we felt that some of them showed a lot of dedication, a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of organizations, and those are the ones that we wanna award the Shark Tank to. The Griffin Tank, sorry. The Griffin Tank. Yeah. So the two teams that we would like to award is to the Antique Gallery and the Barn at Springbrook. Yeah, we got more to say. We got. Okay.
Nelson. Nelson. Nelson.
You're part of the
Yeah, she
group. Come on.
she had to go to work.
I remember that one.
Just a picture.
Ready?
Guys. Guys, congratulations. You all did a great work. You have created a great foundation that you guys are going to do great when you're presenting. Any career that you guys go into, you're going to have mishaps. You're going to have people who don't provide information on time. You just got to be flexible in everything you did. You guys did all a great job. To the Barn at Springbrook, we love your passion. We could see that you guys cared. We love that you guys went above and beyond using networking connections. Anything that you can use to be helpful is always a great thing. The presentation was beautiful. We even personally all have like an interest. We're like, oh, I want to go check out this place now. And that's how well you guys did a presentation. So congrats to you. To the Antique Gallery, your paper was one of the most professional ones that I saw. It looked like something that I can see in my day-to-day business. So you guys did a great job there, worked with the client, understood things. My one suggestion I would say, never generalize anything, any ideas. Older people could use technology too. And but I also say this because as young people, we get generalized often. You get generalized, sorry, I'm including myself in that. But you will get generalized often as being new people, new entry level, or he doesn't know a lot. And you could probably have a lot of potential to you. So don't do anything to others that you wouldn't want done to yourself as well. Okay, but overall, you guys did a fantastic job. I am rooting for you, and we all want the best for you moving forward. Okay?
Thank you so much.
The lateness piece.
Oh, and yes, and again, we're awarding this, but not to say nobody was perfect. To the team that was a little late with their paper, you were awarded this in spite of that. Again, these are real life scenarios. I have been told the day of, hey, this is not gonna happen because I could have made a mistake. Understood? So please take the win, but also take the lessons that come from this. Okay?
Don't leave yet, don't leave.